You know what's funny? I spent my whole adult life dreaming of that one house. Peace, privacy, enough space that you can hear yourself think, not a neighbor in sight. And when I finally got it, when I finally walked through that gate on my first day, I had no idea I'd be starting a war. Not a metaphorical war, either. A full-on, slow-burn, suburban siege. And it all started because a homeowners association, and one woman in particular, decided my private pool should be their community water park. Yeah, that happened. The thing is, my place isn't like the rest of Clearwater Vista. A planned slice of paradise, perched up on a California ridge, with rows of perfectly beige houses, mailboxes all at the same angle, and apparently, zero tolerance for anyone who prefers minding their own business. My house sits right on the edge of their property line, technically outside the reach of their precious HOA. Older, bigger, built by a reclusive artist who liked quiet, surrounded by thick hedges and an iron fence, with a long pool sparkling out back. Honestly, it looked like freedom. And after 2 decades as an architect grinding away for clients, I wanted nothing more than to just be left alone. I replaced the fence, put in electric gates, cameras, the works. First week, total bliss. Second week, that's when I found the letter in my mailbox, embossed, linen stock, like it was a wedding invitation. Except this was from the Clearwater Vista Homeowners Association. They were cordially inviting me to participate in their new weekend pool access initiative. Basically, they wanted me to unlock my gate every Saturday and Sunday so registered residents could use my pool. Because, get this, the pool is visible from the community hiking trail and would be an ideal shared asset. I swear, I laughed so hard I had to reread it twice. They were dead serious. I didn't answer. I figured if you ignore nonsense, it goes away, right? Wrong. 3 days later, my phone buzzes, motion alert on the gate camera. I pull up the feed, and there's this woman, blonde bob, sunglasses, clipboard glued to her chest like she's about to launch a missile. Her name's Karen, naturally, president of the HOA. She's flanked by 2 underlings, both looking like extras from an HR training video. She's fiddling with my keypad, talking about default codes and gray areas. I tap the intercom, "Can I help you?" And she jumps, then delivers the whole speech about community values and fostering harmony. I tell her the house was built by an artist who hated group swim lessons and community projects. She doesn't laugh. "We'll be in touch," she says, and they leave. Next day, a glossy flyer turns up with an aerial shot of my pool, taken from the public trail, of course, talking about a vote for pool access zone. I call my lawyer, who just laughs and says, "Document everything. Don't respond. Don't engage." So I save the videos, print the emails, start a folder. I thought that'd be the end of it, but it's just the beginning. That week, my mailbox and inbox start filling up with garbage. HOA flyers, next door posts claiming I agreed to weekend access, dozens of comments accusing me of being a hostile outsider. There's even a post about how children deserve a healthy alternative to screens. Strangers are lurking outside, snapping photos. One night, someone scratches up my gate with a rock, Vista Strong, on their hoodie, real subtle. And then, as if that's not enough, I find someone's clipped a wire on my gate controls. Whoever did it knew what they were doing. Things get uglier. A laminated flyer is taped to my gate. 88% vote yes for community use. Please comply or formal remedies will be pursued. At this point, I'm running full security logs, tagging faces, compiling footage, updating my lawyer almost daily. Karen and her gang keep showing up, muttering about spirit of the HOA and the whole ridge line, making threats just vague enough to sound crazy but not illegal. Yet. Then, the sirens. I'm out cleaning the pool, and a police cruiser rolls through my gate. Officers saying they got a report about an unattended child near a pool. I show them the cameras, the empty yard, my gardener as the only other living soul around. They apologize, file it as a false report. But you know and I know, it wasn't random. That was Karen, escalating. That same night, there's a new safety concern post, written by Community Matters. Clearly Karen, right down to her fake diplomacy. I've had enough. I upload the video from the police visit, mute out my address, add the caption. False 911 call from Clearwater Vista HOA. No child. No emergency. Just entitlement. Half the neighborhood laughs. The rest accuse me of dividing the community. The next escalation? A petition, 5 pages, full of made-up legal jargon like proximity privilege and passive visual integration, demanding my pool be declared a shared-use aquatic amenity. Attached, a scanned zoning request, filed with my name forged on it, to reclassify my property for public use. That was the last straw. My attorney files fraud complaints, reaches out to the county, and, luckily, a zoning clerk tips us off. Turns out this isn't Karen's first rodeo. We subpoena the HOA's files, and what we find is gold: doctored renderings of my house, showing future walkways, email chains about moving through zoning if you won't cooperate, and meeting minutes literally acknowledging that my property isn't even in their jurisdiction. My attorney builds a case, stacks it high. Meanwhile, I post a giant sign: private property, no HOA access. Attempts to alter zoning will trigger legal action. And then comes the trespass. One morning, I get an alert. Karen and her 2 goons are actually inside my gate, walking around my pool with a measuring wheel and a clipboard, snapping photos like they're planning a bank heist. I drop everything, race home, call the sheriff. By the time I get there, deputies are already on site. Karen tries to argue she's conducting a community visual impact survey. The deputies don't buy it. She gets slapped with a trespass warning. I press charges. Things quiet down for about 3 days. Then the real bureaucratic harassment starts. Anonymous complaints trigger a parade of county inspectors: soil, drainage, electrical, every department except the dog catcher. I meet them with folders of permits, certified plans, recent inspections. Every one of them leaves satisfied. I even get a compliment: "You're more organized than most cities I deal with." Karen's attempt to drown me in red tape backfires, and the DA adds it to their case. Then, the big one: the sheriff executes a warrant at the HOA clubhouse. They seize hard drives, meeting minutes, even voice recordings. One clip is Karen herself. "We just need to make him so tired he opens the gate himself." Another board member suggests staging another emergency to get a quicker response. The DA opens a criminal case. At court, Karen shows up in a red blazer, clutching a binder, her lawyer sweating bullets. The judge listens to everything: videos, emails, the lot, and delivers the most satisfying lines I've ever heard. "This is the clearest example I've witnessed in years of an HOA operating like a cartel. Miss Aldrich, until further notice, you are prohibited from entering Mr. Cross's property, contacting him directly, or discussing this case in public forums." That's the moment the tide breaks. In the days after, the HOA collapses. Karen gets indicted: 3 felonies, filing false reports, falsifying public documents, criminal harassment. She's arrested on her front lawn, still wearing her HOA badge. The news runs her mugshot on the evening broadcast. Board members resign. Residents start sharing stories of their own run-ins with Karen: wind chimes, mailbox colors, hostile rose bushes. My property gets declared a protected private sanctuary, immune from any future HOA overreach. I celebrate with a quiet barbecue. Just me, a few folks who helped along the way, my lawyer, the electrical inspector, and the drone guy from the sheriff's office. I hang a steel sign on the gate: private pool. Not for HOA. Call 911 for access. They already did. The thing is, I never hated HOAs. Didn't really care, honestly. I just wanted to be left alone, to enjoy what I'd worked for. But Karen and her clipboard army made it personal. They thought proximity meant ownership, and that I owed them something just because they could see my pool. When I said no, they brought a war to my doorstep, and lost. Now, I keep the gate locked, just how I like it. Sometimes the breeze rattles it, and for a second, I wonder if it's all starting again, but most days, it's quiet. And when people ask what happened, I tell them. In America, sometimes the only thing standing between you and a mob with clipboards is your willingness to fight back. So what do you think? Was I right to stand my ground? Ever been in a battle with an HOA or nosy neighbors who wanted more than their share? Drop a comment. Tell me your story, because trust me, in this country, the line between community spirit and pure madness is thinner than you'd ever believe.